I often speak with women whose confidence in how they present themselves online has been rattled, perhaps by having very few outfits that they know they look good in. And that's completely understandable. I would love for this to be different for you, especially if the idea of getting headshots done or having a photo shoot or presenting yourself online in virtual meetings is somewhat stressful or even panic inducing. So in this video, I'm going to take you from really being unsure about what to pay attention to there. Where should your valuable time be spent on how you set up your personal image online, to knowing and being sure about what really counts. I'll give you some really cut through ideas, the key things that matter, so that you are well prepared for your online experiences. Over the last 7 years, I've shown CEOs, coaches, and consultants how to dress with confidence for their photo shoots. And I've also managed my own online brand to the point where I appeared as a guest on live TV. So I know that you too can heighten your authority and your impact. One of my clients was an online course creator and a coach, and she had a wardrobe full of clothes that she didn't feel good about. She planned to create many more videos and wanted a wardrobe that would reflect her brand. And after we'd worked together, she said, I've had loads of compliments on my new wardrobe and I feel fabulous when I wear my new clothes. So how did she get to that point of confidence? Well, we worked together so that she knew exactly what to pay attention to about her style. So today I'm going to show you why the way you portray yourself affects your confidence, because people usually think about fashion the wrong way. The key things to think about to elevate your image, and it's not spending a lot of money on expensive clothes. Key things to be aware of when you're styling for the camera, because online is a unique environment. People usually think that fashion is frivolous, that it's just about how we look. It's surface level and somewhat meaningless. But let me throw a few thoughts your way that might challenge that idea. In the last decade, researchers have coined the term dopamine dressing, and dopamine or dopamine is often called the feel-good chemical. So dopamine dressing means dressing with the intention of boosting your mood. And women can feel the difference in their mood by what they wear. There was a study done in 2012 that was called Happiness, It's Not in the Genes, with a J, which I just love. And many of the women in the study felt that they could alter their mood by changing what they wore. Fashion also influences our mind. Professor Karen Pine is a psychologist and an academic, and she's written that what we wear can distort and determine our thoughts and judgments. So this is literally our thoughts that our clothes are changing. And researchers have noticed, for example, not only our thoughts, but also a difference in people's ability to pay attention. And this was related to whether they were wearing a painter's coat or a lab coat. What people wore changed the way they thought. So if you want your mind to be tuned in the right direction so that you can feel competent and confident, then you can use fashion to achieve that. And if it wasn't enough to convince you, if all of that wasn't enough to convince you that fashion isn't frivolous and shallow, then fashion also sends a message, and not only a message to others, which we usually talk about, but it also sends a message to ourselves. The confident woman knows that she matters, and she's invested in herself to ensure that her clothes send her a message that boosts her confidence. I matter. I'm worth it. I have something to give. So because fashion impacts our mood, our mind, and sends us a message, it affects us on a deeper level to boost our confidence or to deteriorate it. And I know what I would rather choose. And this is why the way that we portray ourselves significantly affects our confidence. So if you want to be sure about how to step into this confident self online, then you need to know what to pay attention to, what matters. And I'll give you a hint, it's not buying more expensive clothes. So what are the key things to pay attention to as we shape our style so it elevates our image? I work with 3 style essentials, which I'll tell you about shortly, but there is one key thing that you need to know before you use them, which is really essential to how you think about how you present your image. So I've learned, and you may have too, that the brain is an incredible tool for creating stories and narrative. And this is really important when you're styling yourself to elevate your image, because your image can create confusion about who you are. So I studied neuroscience and linguistics as part of my professional training. And I learned that the brain is always looking to join the dots and to create stories that make sense of the world. So much so that when there are gaps, the brain will join the dots over the gap with its own explanation. Why haven't I heard from my client or my colleague? Why did that conversation go in a direction I wasn't expecting? Your brain is making up stories every day. So imagine meeting someone whose image appears insipid and lacking confidence, but then they turn up and they're a powerhouse. That would just be confusing. Or imagine being that powerhouse and then finding that people don't respond to you consistently. They don't seem to get who you are. That's disempowering. So when there is confusion, people will make up their own reason, and that confusion will mean that they don't align with the way that you want things to go, or with how you're presenting yourself, kind of the value that you see yourself bringing. And so the thing that we need to pay attention to most strongly is not what we should be wearing or whether we look the part, but whether we're telling our audience a consistent story about who we are through our image. So this is actually what feels most confidence building about your looks. If you wear clothes in this way, this is when you'll feel most confident. And these are also the looks that you carry the best. And I just love the synergy there. And importantly, when we turn up as the person that we've portrayed ourselves to be, that then builds trust, empathy, and a relationship with the people that we're seeking to impact and influence. So the style essentials are really part of delivering on that. And that's why there are 3. 2 of them are about your visuals, and 1 is about really yourself and bringing yourself. So the first one is wearing your best colors. And these are colors that align with the natural coloring of your skin, your eyes, and your hair. And beware of black. Black only suits a small number of people. Flattering your body shape is the second style essential. And that is so that you don't look frumpy or bored or careless, and like you haven't you haven't paid attention to the significance of the fact that you're there, you're serving your client, you're turning up in that role, especially if you have responsibility. And then synergizing your style with your personality creates that strong alignment between how you turn up online and how you turn up in real life. Do those 3 style essentials resonate with you? I would love to hear in the comments. And how important have you found them to be in presenting your personal image online? Now, I'm going to be sharing more about what matters to show up authentically in your online image in the next video. So stay tuned for that. And lastly, you don't want to get all of this sorted and then fail because the photo shoot or appearing online is a flunk. So I'm going to give you 5 tips that make a huge difference to whether your online presence will help you have the impact and the authority that you're looking for. Avoid these 5 classic fails and you will have a fabulous shoot and a great online presence. So firstly, don't wear black. And even if you are one of the fortunate women whose coloring suits black, the camera doesn't like black because it sucks the life out of the shot. And it is much better to wear color. Everyone has a unique palette of ideal colors that highlight their best features, and you will have some bright tones and some more muted tones in that palette. If you choose from some of your brightest tones, the camera will love it. Then don't wear frenetic patterns. So that's patterns like houndstooth or fine pinstripes, fine checks. They just cause the lens and the eye, so when people are looking at it, to just go all over the place. They're very busy and eye-catching, and also can have the effect of adding weight and distracting from your natural features. So yeah, a classic example is diagonal stripes that just take the eye in all kinds of directions. So you might want to think about it as not wearing clothes that would upstage you. Avoid oversized garments. So on shoot, what you find is you might feel comfortable and effortless in them, but they can translate as being bulky and unflattering. It's much better to wear clothes that are more neatly tailored around, especially around the bust and the shoulders, as they come across as much more flattering. So opt for those tailored, neat fitting pieces. And then when you're presenting or meeting online, be aware of where your camera angle is. So you want it to be ideally at eye line or slightly above. And so I know it sounds like, this is a really fine distinction, but what I mean is you don't want to be looking down because then the camera is looking up and kind of enlarges your chin, and most people find that not flattering. Also, in terms of screen real estate, the best place to have your eyes is 2/3 of the way up the screen, and it doesn't matter too much if the top of your head's not showing. Then also dress for the frame. So at the photo shoot, you want to know, is this going to be headshots? Is this going to be whole body? You might think you've got some really cool shoes, but maybe they won't show in the shoot. And so does that bring across the element of personality that you're wanting to convey? And then the other thing about dressing for the frame, we could probably say more, but this other thing is really key, and that is that when you just have a small kind of rectangular box that people are seeing you through, a little bit of skin can look like a lot of skin. So just be aware around things. You might wear your outfit out for the day and it's perfectly in balance and really tasteful, but then when it's just on this frame, that can be quite distracting. So there is more we could say about presenting yourself online, but these 5 keys will make a huge difference and will get you a lot of the way there. So now you know what it takes, that the things that are central to portraying confidence in your photos and online. I would love to hear in the comments how that all resonates with you, what you've tried, what's working, what's not working for you. And if you want to have a confident and elevated online personal image, I've also created a checklist for you, which is in the description below. The link is there. The next video in this series is about how to show up authentically in your online personal image. So check that out so that you can learn how to turn up in a way that people can trust and rely on, and that makes you feel empowered. I invite you to subscribe. Love to read your comments in the video on the video. Love you to share this so that we can help other women create an impactful online presence and confidence on camera. And check it out. Check out the next one, Create Impact Through Influence, how to style yourself for success online. We'll be talking about your authenticity online. I look forward to seeing you there.